from the deep, dark hollers of Knott County, Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, not so quiet. Hey, welcome back everybody to Appalachia Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife and co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
Hello, my shade. We have a very special episode going on tonight.
Yeah, we got a party.
Yeah, we have a live studio audience. Yeah. See, we're expanding. We have a live studio audience now. Okay, not really. We have some people gathered together here, some family and friends. And, you know, we all have stories. We've all had these experiences. These things happen to us in our lives because that's what makes up our lives. That's what Appalachia folklore is all about, is all these stories that people have shared. And sometimes these stories kind of overlap. You know, people have the same experiences, but not a lot of people know about it. We've talked about our experiences many, many times on this podcast. And a lot of those experiences that I've mentioned have involved other people. Luckily, we do have some of those people here. So maybe we have them corroborate some of my stories.
Back them up and tell us, you know, their experiences when no one else was around.
Yeah, they can kind of share what they saw, and you'll see that I'm not full of crap. Now, one of the friends that we have here is somebody who is not a stranger to our podcast, Abby of Abby's Southern Sips. She was also on our 500 listener celebration, and she spoke about some of her spooky experiences she's had and her experience with the
strawberry farmer.
Yeah, the strawberry farmer, and her experience during the flood of 2022. So I thought it would be a good idea for this episode. It's kind of something I've been thinking about for a while, is just kind of gathering some stories from people. Some of my family and friends, I've mentioned some of the stories, some of the experiences I've had with these people, and they've never been around to talk about them, to back me up on them. And then they've had all kinds of experiences themselves. So I'm very happy to have both of my brothers here with us.
Yay.
Yeah, we've got my brother Eric and my brother Gary. Now, just like me, my brothers grew up in the same house, the house that I talked about having all kinds of experiences in. One of the big ones was the shadow that walked by my door and would go into the bathroom. But that seemed to be kind of a universal shared experience among us. I didn't realize that apparently both of my brothers have also had this experience. So Eric is my slightly older brother.
Your taller brother.
And then Gary is my
shorter
oldest brother.
The shorter brother. Older, shorter brother.
Yeah.
And that's how we determine them. Middle, taller, older, shorter.
Okay. I guess that works. So my brother Eric, though, he had a lot of the same experiences. He experienced things with me. And we're going to bring him on, let him talk a little bit about some of those experiences. So, brother, thank you for being on. Would you like to tell everybody a little bit about the experiences you also had in the home we grew up in?
Well, probably the earliest one I remember was one day you and Mom were in the kitchen, and I just left you and gone to my room at the time.
Yeah, I remember this one, yeah.
And I was laying on the bed, listening to music, and about the time I thought, I need to go to the restroom, someone walked through the hallway. I saw a shadow move between the cracks of the door and go into the bathroom, and heard the bathroom door shut.
Kind of the same thing that I talked about, you know, seeing the shadow of feet going by under my door. But you actually saw like a full shadow.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And I waited. Nobody ever came out. So I got up and I go and I look, and the bathroom door is wide open. The light is off.
Nobody's there.
And nobody's there.
That's what always happened to me.
And I just thought that you or Mom had gone to the restroom, and I just hadn't noticed you coming out. So I go in the kitchen and I asked You all, when have you been in there? No, we've been in here since you left.
Yeah. I remember when that happened. I was in there with Mom. I think she was cooking. I was just helping her out. And yeah, you came in there and you're like, which one of you just went to the bathroom? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was probably the earliest one that I remember. The one that bothered me the most was after our grandmother passed away. I would feel like somebody was watching me when I would try to go to bed. That feeling of the hair standing up on the back of your neck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to have that happen. I had that feeling a lot in that house.
Well, it progressed to the feeling that you just knowed that if you turned around, you were going to see something.
Yeah.
And when it got to that, it finally came to one night I had a test the next day and I'm laying in bed trying to go to sleep and I got this feeling I just know somebody's standing there looking at me. And I finally turned around and said, okay, I'm hoping that whatever this is, it's grandma or grandpa watching over me. I appreciate you watching over me, but just don't do it while I'm trying to sleep. Thank you. And after that, I never felt that feeling again.
Oh, so it's like they may have listened and said, okay, well, obviously we're bothering you. We won't bother you no more. Okay, that's cool.
I never had that feeling again in the house, like somebody was watching me after I said that.
I had the feeling I don't know, it kind of faded, I guess, over time, or I kind of quit paying attention to it, maybe. I don't know, but I remember feeling it really strong a lot when I was a kid. And I'd be in my room playing with toys by myself or something.
Yeah.
And it always felt like somebody was just standing right behind me, just watching me play.
Yeah, you just if you turn your head, there's going to be somebody there.
Yeah,
or
you just
something
know somebody's there, and then there's nobody.
Yeah.
But I haven't lived or been around as long as you all have, but I get a feeling just walking in there and stuff too of the house. You can just feel something different. I don't know if anybody else like new experiences have like walking in there has felt it kind of weird.
Well, I mean, like I said, maybe I just kind of got used to it or something, but I've not really felt that in that house since I was younger, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that age. But apparently Eric spoke up and spoke out and said, hey, this is kind of freaking me out. And I guess they quit. So I wish I'd thought of that. So thank you, brother Eric. Thank you very much for sharing those stories. See, that kind of backs up some of the experiences that I had. So I'm not crazy. But we have one more to go. My oldest brother, Gary, he also had some experiences in our childhood home. So, brother Gary, would you like to talk about some of those things that you may have experienced at our parents' home? Yeah.
I just want to say I think you're doing a great job of this podcast.
Well, thank you.
Really enjoy listening to it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Said before, I think you're our biggest fan. I think you're usually the first listen of the day every time we post an episode. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm on my way to work Monday morning, and the first thing I do is turn on the podcast, see if there's a new episode.
Oh, that's awesome. Glad we can entertain you.
Oh, yeah. Experiences I had in the house, I never really felt watched or threatened or anything like that. I just remember hearing things and seeing shadows pass by my door at night.
There it is again.
But, I'm thinking it's just mom and dad getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom.
That's what I always thought too.
But there were a few times when I would wake up, I would hear somebody walk down the hall, go into the bathroom, shut the door, and
never come out.
Yeah. So I would get up, nobody's there. That happened a lot. And the room I stayed in, there was actually a patio that ran from the kitchen along the back of the house by my bedroom. And there were many nights when I would hear someone walking back and forth on that patio.
On the
very
patio?
distinctly because of, concrete floor.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of hear that scuffling or shuffling feet sound.
I would hear that a lot. But like I said, I never felt threatened, never felt scared or anything like that. Who knows? Who knows what it was?
Yeah. I mean, I just always assume, like Eric said, that it was grandpa, grandma. I'm not sure. How old were you when you had the experiences? Was grandma and grandpa still around?
As far back as I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably after grandpa had passed away.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think I was only 8, maybe, when grandpa passed away.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that was a thing, and it was a running joke with friends and relatives that would stay there. They
Oh
all knew
yeah.
about it. I mean, they're like, yeah, you got a bathroom ghost that really likes to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about having friends stay
Yeah.
over, and they were like, What's going on?"
They had to go boop.
Very funny.
But that's really the extent of experiences I had. I never really saw anything. I heard a lot of things.
What about the shadow? Was it just the feet walking by the hallway?
Yeah, just nothing distinct, just a shadow or
Yeah.
something that would indicate somebody was walking by your door.
Right. But you never saw like a full form of
No.
somebody, a shadowy
Never saw
form.
anything
Okay.
like that.
Well, there you go. Another experience that backs up exactly what I said. I mean, isn't that scientific, right? If you can repeat something over and over.
I think we need to do a full investigation of the house.
Well, that's something I've toyed with, idea I've had several times, even back when my parents were still around. Because, like I said, I always thought that maybe grandma and grandpa were in there.
Because, like, we have the evidence of the lady in white and then all your all's experiences. I think it's time. And I'm very ashamed of you as much as you've done, like, all this ghost hunting stuff that you've not actually done an investigation at your mom's house. You've had the opportunity when they're not home to have done something while they're gone.
Well, yeah, I probably could have, but I don't know. I never did. But I thought about it a lot. I was like, you know what? I should try to take a digital recorder or something. Just leave it sitting in the house, something like that, just to see if I can get some kind of EVP or footsteps, something like that. Maybe catch the noise of the thing going to the bathroom. I don't know.
Anything.
But we do have one more piece of evidence to add to this pile because, as it turns out, my nephew has also had these experiences. Now, he came around long after we had these experiences, and I don't know if any of us even told him about these things, but it turns out that he had the exact same type of experience. So, my nephew Kyle, he's going to come on here with us now. And Kyle, you want to tell us about your bathroom ghost experience?
So I never really heard any stories about the bathroom ghost from my father, but every summer I would spend a week or two with my grandparents, and I would stay in the front room, and at night I would be laying there kind of on my phone trying to go to sleep, and all of a sudden you would hear footsteps and kind of see a little shadow underneath the door. I would get up, open the bedroom door, see nothing, nobody's in the bathroom. I would go in there, turn the light on. There'd be nobody in there. Kind of not think anything of it. Go lay back down, but it would happen every year.
Yeah, it would happen all the time. So you didn't like freak out. You were just like, okay,
No.
whatever.
Didn't really freak out. I did. I remember after the first couple times it happened, I kind of talked with my dad about it, and he told me the story about my great grandmother, my great grandfather, that built the house and lived in it first.
Yeah.
But never really second guessed it. I never felt threatened or anything like that. Just felt the presence.
Okay, so you could feel something there, and you saw these shadows, and something going to the bathroom for whatever reason. I still don't understand this. Why this is the event? Because I think it's kind of a residual haunting type of thing. Because the residual haunting is just some impression of energy that's still left on our physical world, and it's just kind of replaying over and over again. And I think that's what it is, but I can't figure out why that is what imprinted. That is what keeps replaying. Is just somebody going to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's something I never understood, but just the presence of someone walking up and down that hallway and going into the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I don't know if it's like a spirit with some kind of intelligence that we could interact with in any way or anything. It's just some kind of energy that just keeps repeating, and I've always found it weird.
All right, I agree about the residual haunting. That's what I kind of think. But there was a house there before.
There was.
I believe Grandpa bought the land from someone, and there was actually a house here already.
Oh, okay. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I may be wrong on that, but I know he bought the land from someone, and they had an existing structure on the land. And I think it was like an old log cabin, and it was actually the logs from that house were Grandpa tore it down and
Yeah.
used those logs to build the smokehouse that's up on the hill beside the house. So there was a history to the land already.
Oh, okay.
And as far as the bathroom goes, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
the bathroom was added. I know it was added later after the house was built.
Okay.
So I don't know if that has any effect on it or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could be if the house wasn't there or was different whenever this energy imprinted for whatever reason, then that could be something just walking through the yard or whatever. There didn't used to even be a house or bathroom or anything there. It just happens to be going through our bathroom. I don't know. It always seemed weird. Like I said, I was unaware that there was already a house. So if that's the case, then yeah, it could be whoever was here before our ancestors bought this land. And yeah, maybe they're just walking through the yard or something.
Right.
You know?
And that white lady could be someone from that era.
Yeah, very well could be. I mean, we kind of assumed it was grandma, especially from some family, some neighbors who are cousins. That, you know, it looked a lot like our grandma when she would go over to the garden. She would always wear a headscarf and stuff to protect her head from the sun and all that.
Right. Well, you want to think that your parents and grandparents and people close to you that have passed on are still around watching over you.
Right. Yeah. And if there's something going on in this case, like a childhood home where you grew up and things are happening, you kind of just assume that that's probably the spirit or whatever of my parents, grandparents, you know, whoever was there before.
So now we conclude the bathroom ghost. Let's move on to the Holler cryptid here, to the lineman on Clear Creek.
So you're wondering if lineman might possibly be real. Other people have had experiences, because when I talked about mine, I did mention that I think that both of my brothers have also had some strange experiences regarding lineman.
Well, I mean, I live in this Holler, so I'd kind of like to know all the details, not just one side of the story.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry that I didn't inform you of this cryptid earlier. Like I said, I didn't think it was real, but then when I started thinking about things, I'm like, well, you know, maybe, could be, who knows? And the fact that, like I said, other people have apparently also had experiences that they thought maybe, possibly, lineman could be the answer for. So, okay, I guess we're going to go to lineman. Do we have a lineman story? Okay. My brother Gary, he's going to come back on. And I think I mentioned before, you said that you had something chased you or something like that out of the hill. And you always wondered, could it have been lineman?
Yeah, definitely something. I have no idea if it was lineman. As far as lineman goes, to my knowledge, it was a cryptid created by elder cousins to
Yeah, that's kind of what I always went with. I was like,
to,
yeah, the older
to
cousins
frighten
scared
us
us.
younger kids. So the story goes, there was a mad scientist.
Oh, mad scientist.
Yeah, it always
I thought it
was.
was just the government.
Oh, no. Mad scientist who worked for the government.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it always starts out that way. And supposedly he created this creature that
Mountain lion hybrid.
yes, became known as the Lion Man. All right, so my first experience, if you want to call it that, me and a couple of my relatives were we were camping out in the yard, and it was late one evening, and we were just joking around, telling stories and stuff, and the Lion Man came up. I was just kind of laughing, and we were standing outside the tent. I was just goofing off, and I screamed, "Come and get me, Lion Man!" And as soon as I said that, something came just crashing down the hill. Just like, I mean, trees were falling, rocks rolling. It just looked,
Holy cow.
yeah, it was crazy. It scared us to death. We ran inside, and needless to say, we didn't camp out that night.
Is this like the first time that somebody had tried to pull the lineman story on you, or
Well,
this was
no,
already established?
I had heard about it
Oh,
from
okay.
older cousins and stuff, you know, but
Yeah.
I always thought they were just trying to scare us.
Yeah.
So I didn't think there was anything to it. But yeah, we never saw anything. But man, whatever was coming down that mountain, it sounded like an avalanche. I mean, it was just like crazy.
That's crazy. So, I mean, could have been a bear.
I mean, possibly at that time there really weren't
Yeah, I don't
any
remember it. Yeah,
bear in this area.
I don't remember
The
seeing bear.
mines drove the bear out for a long time. They're just now starting to come back in here.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, that was an experience. Like I said, we
And-
never saw anything, but definitely heard it.
Yeah. And it would be an incredible coincidence if right after you yelled that just happened to be when a tree or something.
Yeah,
up
that's
there.
kind of that's kind of what scared us. You know, the timing
Right.
was bad.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I mean, I used to do a lot of camping on my own. I'd just go off in the woods and camp for the night or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, that was the thing to do around here. I used to do it all the time
I mean,
too.
like there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But I was back up. I know some of your listeners are not going to be familiar with the area, but I
Well,
was back
obviously.
up in the back part of our holler,
Yeah.
around what we called Eagle Rock.
Okay.
And I was camping by myself. It was probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the morning. Something woke me up. Something was moving around where I was camping. It was dark. Fire was dead. I had like my trusty 22 rifle with me.
Of course.
And so, you know, I'm kind of looking around trying to figure out what's going on, and something just keeps like circling the camp. And it's something rather large. I mean, it's not like a raccoon or anything like that. I mean, you could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in the fall and the leaves were crunching and
So it's like heavy footsteps.
oh yeah, it was heavy. And then I started listening and it was bipedal. Definitely bipedal.
Okay, so it wasn't like a deer or
No.
nothing like that.
No, it was walking on 2 legs. Definitely. So I decided that my little 22 was probably not going to do enough damage to whatever was circling the camp.
Yeah, if it's something that big, yeah.
I grabbed my stuff and got out of there. But something followed me all the way back home that night. I mean, it was dark and I was moving as fast as I could move without killing myself.
So you could hear all these leaves crunching and twigs breaking and everything right behind you.
It was close behind me the whole time. Yeah, it was pretty frightening experience. I had no idea what it was. Still don't. But
when did it stop following you? Like just when you got close to the homes?
When I cleared the tree line in our backyard.
That's when you stopped hearing
That's when I stopped hearing it.
So it just about followed you all the way to the front door. Because the tree line's not very far.
No.
Okay, so you had this experience where something followed you and you could hear it walking around you, but you never saw anything though.
No, I never saw anything. Like I said, it was really, really dark. There was like no moonlight.
So you never even saw like a shape of it, a shadow of it.
No, I never saw anything.
Okay.
And I was moving quick, I wasn't looking back to see if I could see anything too much. But I never saw anything. I just got out of there as quick as I could.
I know, when I talked about my experience, and like the only thing I can relate it to is Lion Man, because that's the only story that I'd ever heard that could have explained what I experienced. But I may be the only one who actually saw something then, and I don't know if it was Lion Man. I don't know if Lion Man's even a real thing, because like I said, we've always thought it was just our cousins trying to scare us. But I did see these eyes staring at me from across the creek, and they weren't like owl eyes or the way deer eyes look, kind of reflective. I mean, they were almost glowing like eyes, and then they blinked, and that's when I was like, I'm out of here. I grabbed my cat and I was gone. So yeah, I mean, I could have possibly seen something. And Brother Eric, did you ever see anything, hear anything that you may have thought, is that Lion Man?
Well, the only thing that I ever thought might have been Lion Man was I noticed that a lot of times when you'd be coming up the holler, whether on my bike or on foot, you would hear something on the hillside across the creek following along, and you'd stop and it'd stop, and then you'd start again, do it again, and it'd follow you all the way up the holler. That's the only thing I ever thought, well, maybe that might be Lion Man.
All the way up the holler, all the way almost to the house.
Almost to the house, yes.
Didn't you say you had an experience the other day, like you heard knocking on a tree or something like that?
Yeah, that was just the other day. I come out on the porch in the morning and heard somewhere up in the woods. I looked and I couldn't see anything, but it was just a steady
Yeah.
knocking it. It sounded like somebody had a stick and was just knocking it against the tree every now and then. It wasn't like a woodpecker.
Yeah. I know they say that like Sasquatch does that, but who's to say that other cryptids aren't able to do that?
Oh, that's true.
So,
Well, yeah, but that is a very big one for Bigfoot. Yeah. I mean, you see that all the time, like the Bigfoot expedition shows and all this. That's one of the main things they do. Bigfoot likes to communicate with these knocking big limbs against trees and stuff, and they'll do it trying to get a response. So that's pretty cool. I mean, could we have a Bigfoot or like Shade saying maybe other cryptids? Maybe they also communicate that way or something. But this was at night, right? So you couldn't see anything either.
Well, the following.
Yeah, something following you up the holler.
Yeah, it was usually nighttime. I'd be coming back home and
Right.
you'd hear, so I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, you could hear something following along with you. And that's interesting too, because I'm sure you've probably heard it. One of our neighbors, who is our cousin, she used to tell stories about hearing something following them up the holler.
Yeah. When I mentioned it to her, she flipped out and told me that, yeah, it used to happen to them when they were younger.
that to me sounds like a actual haint, because it sounds like something that my dad had described as something following him up the holler. And then like they can't cross water because what, like when you got to this culvert here, it kind of stopped following you, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think they can cross like any water, even if there's a bridge there. I don't think they can cross it.
Yeah, that's kind of a haint thing, is crossing water. I guess what is it, vampires or something like that can't cross running water or something of that nature. I
I've
forgot.
heard that legend somewhere.
Yeah. But supposedly that's part of the whole haint. The old timers would talk about. They talk about the haints. Yeah, Shade's dad actually told the story about what they called a haint, and it sounds exactly the same. Like you could hear something walking in the creek or walking, on the other side of the creek, following you all the way up the holler.
That's the way we did.
So, I mean, there you go. Is it, is it lineman? Is it a haint, a booger? What could it possibly be? Obviously, it's something. And even now, we may have a new cryptid moving in because you've heard wood knocking. Maybe that could be Bigfoot. You never know. I mean, there's been all kinds of Bigfoot sightings all around us. There was even some up around Bearville and stuff. I've heard reports over that way.
All I can say is that all the years that I've lived here, I've never heard knocking like that.
Yeah. That's the thing that gets me, is whenever I hear something, and you're going to know right away. You've lived here all your life. You hear something that is not part of the normal birds, woodpeckers, all that.
Yeah.
You're going to notice it, and you're going to wonder, what the heck is that? But I mean, we very well could have Bigfoot moving into this area. There's been so many strange things. We got the ghosts, we've got lineman, handsome boogers chasing people up the holler.
And we've also had people report Dogman within a few miles of here too.
That's true. Dogman is one of those cryptids I've been quite obsessed with. There's just so much surrounding that particular one that you can't really ignore it. Maybe lineman was actually a dogman and somebody just mistook it for a cat. But there's been no end to the strange things that have happened on this holler, and that includes the skies above us. I've mentioned before about the experience that you, Brother Eric, and myself had right out here in our parents' front yard, where we innocently went out to just look at some stars. That you had like a book that had all these star constellations in it.
Yeah.
And me and you were kind of obsessed with it there for a little while.
Yeah. That was a book that belonged to Grandpa Lawson.
Oh, okay. I knew it was an old book. I could tell it was old. It was kind of tattered and around the edges and stuff. But yeah, we went out there just to kind of check out these star constellations, because we have a beautiful view of the sky back up here in our holler, and you can see a lot of these constellations. And yeah, I've told the story before, but if you would like to tell your recollection of the story.
Well, I mean, we were out looking at star constellations, and I noticed that there was some lights moving in the sky, and then there was like something was blocking the stars out, and it seemed like it was so low that the light from a neighbor's outside lamp was reflecting off of it, and it looked disc shaped.
Yeah. When it came over, the front was very disc shaped.
Yeah.
and it was very dark. Yeah, it was blocking out all the stars. And even we could see those two, they were jets, planes,
Yeah.
flying through there. And that's originally what I was looking at, because right over top of the hill, you could see these two planes kind of flying towards each other. And then this big object just comes right over the mountaintop.
Yeah. And that was pretty much the whole experience. I mean, it wasn't moving very fast, and you ran back inside to try to get a camera,
Yeah.
and it just continued right overhead. And by the time you got back, it had gone over the mountain.
Well, no, actually, when I came back out with the camera, it was still there.
Was it?
Yeah, because I tried to take a picture. I snapped several pictures, and the camera didn't sound right. And I popped open the back of it, and there was no film in the camera.
It's been so long since I've even thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long time ago. It's been 30 years, 35 years.
I just remember looking at you and saying, it's gone now.
Yeah. Yeah, because it just kind of lazily came over and just kind of sit over top of the house for a little bit. Because, I mean, it had enough time. It came right over top of us. And we were just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it finally popped in my head, I need a picture of this. And I ran in the house, and Mom's like, what are you doing? I was like, I need a camera. There's a UFO. And she's like, what? You're crazy. And I ran out there and tried to snap the pictures. And then, it just, when I realized there wasn't any film, that's when it just kind of lazily drifted off, away
just over the mountain.
Yeah, went
over
back
the
behind the next
right
mountain.
over the mountain.
That was probably the most incredible UFO experience. I've seen all kinds of stuff in the sky, but I've never seen anything just moving that slow that looked that massive. And I saw it for a good long period. You saw it longer than I did, because you just stood out there the whole time staring at this thing.
I was just dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, am I actually seeing this?
Yeah. And I still can't figure out what that was to this day.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like it since.
And of course, I mentioned the fact that you actually gave the best description when you said it actually kind of looked like the Starship Enterprise.
It did. It with the little bit of light that shined on it, it looked almost like the front disc of the Starship Enterprise from the Next Generation.
Yeah. Yeah, the Enterprise D. And it had that round shape on the front and kind of around the sides. And then the back part of it was kind of straight looking and had those lights.
Yeah.
So it almost, the shape of it really did look like the Starship Enterprise.
And it had to be big because, like you said, blotted out the stars.
Yeah, that is by far the strangest UFO encounter I've ever had. And like I said, I've seen other things, but nothing compares to that, and I've never been able to explain it. But my brother Gary also has some UFO tales. I guess you've seen some strange things. Now, you've been in the military, and you've been kind of all over the world. So
I've been a few places, yeah.
So, I mean, you've probably seen strange things in all kinds of places other than right here in Appalachia.
Yeah, you could say that. You could definitely say that. The only thing UFO related that I ever remember is, and I don't even know how old I was, probably 7, 8, something like that. We were trick-or-treating. It's Halloween night, and we were in the back of a pickup. I don't even remember who was driving us. One of the parents and a bunch of the kids were in the back of this truck. And we just turned off Clear Creek, and we're moving up. And we stopped for something for just a second. I don't know. One of the kids had to get out and go to the bathroom or something. But I just happened to look up, and on that road, you've got mountain on both sides, and it's really, really like narrow as far as the skyline.
Right.
But I just saw something. I mean, there was no sound, just like the stars getting blotted out coming across the road above us. And it just lasted a few seconds, but you could clearly see that something was blotting out the stars. I never saw like what it was, but
you couldn't see like a particular shape of it.
No, just that something was blocking the stars for just that amount of time for it to pass from one side,
from one ridge to the other ridge across the road. Yeah, the creek in the road there.
I was like, hey, I didn't even say anything because I was like, they're going to think I'm crazy.
Yeah,
maybe I am crazy, but
well, that's the thing is, a lot of people have had stuff like this happen to them, and they don't ever really talk about it that much because people's going to think they're crazy.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever told anybody that story. This is the first time I've ever divulged that information.
So you were the only one that saw this.
I was. Yeah. Everybody else was like checking their candy out and stuff.
Yeah,
I
they
just
weren't even-
happened to look up
Yeah.
at that time. But like I said, no sound, just enough time for it to pass from the tops of the trees on one side of the road to the tops of the trees on the other side of the road.
So you don't think it's like maybe like heavy cloud cover or anything like that?
No, it was like a crystal clear night. I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, the stars were out like crazy. That's one reason I had looked up, because it was just, I was amazed at how well you could see the stars that night.
Well, like I said, you were in the military and you've seen all kinds of military equipment and all the various planes and things, helicopters that we have. Could you have related it to anything even close to that?
No. I mean, all of our equipment, it makes noise,
Yeah.
especially when it's
Obviously.
that close.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna know it's a plane or a helicopter,
Right.
or something. But yeah, I've never seen anything like that in the military.
That's really cool though, because that's kind of what me and Eric saw, is some big object that just blotted out everything in the sky, basically, in that one spot of the sky. So, I mean, there you go. Strange experiences on our holler. And you got to think there's so many hollers all across, not just southeastern Kentucky, all across the Appalachian Mountains. That's all it is. It's all hollers and mountaintops. That's all you got. And you got to think, we have all these experiences back in this holler. How many experiences are happening in the other hollers?
And there's a lot of caves and stuff for them to hide in too.
That's true. When it comes to the cryptids and things, you got plenty of places for them to hide. And the aliens too. You got the UFOs coming down, the aliens are coming out. They're probably landing back in these dense parts of the woods where nobody's going to see them. There's plenty of ghost stories, haints and booger stories to be found back in these hollers. And that's why we've had experiences in so many other places. There's just activity everywhere. And that's why we've had these experiences outside of this holler as well. I've talked about several other places that I've been, places I've investigated, places I've lived that have also been haunted. And my brother Eric is no exception to this as well. He's also had experiences in other places, some of the same places that I have, but also places where he's worked and things. Eric, would you like to tell us some more stories? I believe you've got one about a ghost when you were working.
I had training for this job, and the job, we would stay 3.5 days there and be off 3.5 days. And the cottage that I worked in had to sleep in the attic.
Attics are always spooky.
Well, this one was no exception. So we were having this training, and I came back from the training early. It was like 3 in the afternoon, and I was totally wiped out. So I laid down to go to sleep. And I was just on the edge of sleep when I felt a hand land on my hip. And I had just enough time to open my eyes before it shoved me, and I rolled out of bed.
So something pushed you out of the bed.
Something actually pushed me out of the bed.
I've had that happen before too.
Yeah, you've talked about that before, about at your parents' house. Something just dragged you right out of the bed.
I know a lot of people try to blame something like that on sleep paralysis or something, but it doesn't knock you out of the bed.
Well, I was pretty tired.
Yeah.
And I jumped up, and instead of being scared, I was angry. I was so mad because I wanted to sleep so much, and I let on a tirade and told it that if I would absolutely exercise its butt out of there faster than it could say.
I'm calling the Catholic Church. Leave me alone.
Well, I jumped all over it basically and told it I'd exercise it out of there if it ever bothered me again. And I worked another 2 months having to stay up in that attic, and it never bothered me again. But after that 2 months was up, and I kind of pushed it out of my mind where I was trying to stay up there. I had to stay up there. There was nowhere else for me to stay. And they switched the people around so that I could move downstairs, and the guy who was working with me went to the other shift, and he was going to have to sleep in the attic. And he worked one weekend, and when I come back in, he's walked through the door, and the first thing he does is step up to me and go, "What the heck is going on in that attic?"
Oh, wow. So obviously something got a hold of him, or
No, he said that it was walking up and down the stairs so much that he couldn't sleep up there. He had to come down and sleep on the couch out in the living room.
holy cow. Well, that's cool. Well, I'm probably not for him.
No, he was not happy with it, and there was actually shadow figures seen by other members of the of the team over there.
Wow. So this whole facility was, I'm guessing this was an old building.
No,
No, really?
it was not that old of a building, but there was an old barn there before,
Okay.
and there was a story that someone was lynched and hung in that barn.
Wow. Someone was lynched and hung in the barn.
That was the story I heard.
And then they built this facility in the same spot. Well, there you go. You can about guarantee if there's some kind of activity going on somewhere, even if you doze the land and put up a brand new building, the activity is probably going to keep right on happening. But you've also had experiences at some places we lived. I actually mentioned before about an old house we all moved into. And after I'd been there for a few months and already had some experiences, you actually moved in and you took my place in the basement and I went upstairs. And I had told you about some of the weird things that had happened to me in that basement. And you started having weird things happen in it.
Yeah, the most shocking one was I was listening to music at my computer, and something screamed "punk" right in my ear, which flipped me out, sent me upstairs. I was like, "What the heck is going on in this house?"
Yeah.
But some of the other stuff that happened down there is I would hear somebody walking in the room where the washer was. I would hear footsteps, and I would catch the image of a young girl in a white dress out of the corner of my eye sometimes.
A young girl in a white dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning one time that you had just been sitting at your computer
Yeah.
and you thought you saw somebody at the stairs.
Yeah,
Which were
a
like-
young girl in a white dress at the stair,
Yeah.
right at the bottom of the stairs, just out of the corner of my eye. And when I turned, nobody was there.
Yeah, see, I had weird stuff like that all the time. You know, the sound like somebody coming down the stairs and walking around in the basement, and you know, I would just expect it was one of our roommates, you know, coming down there for some reason, and there never was anybody there. That was kind of an ongoing theme at that house.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember after I'd had some experiences, you all told me about some experiences that you had, the people talking in the kitchen and the orbs of the light floating around the windows,
Yeah.
the cats teleporting.
Yeah, that one was really weird. Our cat that we had at that house, he used to sit in the window and just watch the squirrels and all kinds of stuff like that. One day he was sitting at the window and our roommate walked in and saw him, you know, looking out the window and was like, "Hey, what are you looking at?" And when he looked outside, he saw a orb of light just like bouncing around in the yard. And that's what our cat was looking at. And I thought, okay, that's weird. And I looked around, me and him both walked out on the porch and, you know, no orb of light, but I didn't have any reason to think he was crazy or anything. And then I walked into the bathroom because I was going to get ready to go to work. And there was like a little window right there over top of the toilet. And as soon as you look out that window, there was a ball of light sitting on the fence post and it just shot straight up and was gone. So then, like, every time we saw the cat looking out the window, we're like, "Oh, what's he looking at?" We're trying to see, you know, is the orb of light back, but we never saw it again.
No, I never saw the orbs of light.
Yeah. And then you also mentioned the cat teleporting. And
Yeah, that was your story.
Yeah, I'd actually forgot about that one because it was just this quick weird thing, and I guess I just pushed it to the back of my mind and never really paid it much more thought after that. But it was really weird because I had just been in the dining area, kitchen area, whatever you want to call it, and the cat was there eating out of its bowl. And I go in my room and I shut the door, and like immediately my closet door opens up just slightly and the cat comes jumping out the same cat that was just eating in the next room. And yeah, I was freaking out at first. I was like, how in the heck? But like I said, I just didn't think much of it after that. I just put it away. But yeah, that was really weird. I wonder if that was just a glitch in the matrix, some kind of portal teleportation, something along those lines. Maybe it was a Mandela effect. I didn't really see the cat eating. I just thought I did. There are endless explanations, just like with most things we talk on here. You could go from something supernatural to just some kind of natural way of the universe that we just don't understand quite yet.
Yeah.
So there you go, closing out on some spooky stories. I would like to thank everybody who shared their stories, my brothers, my nephew. Thank you all so much for coming on and helping corroborate some of my events and experiences that I've had, and sharing some of the stories that I've not heard from you. So that was great. I'm always glad to hear new stories, and that's why I wanted to do this tonight. We had this opportunity because I've been thinking of doing this for a while. We talk a lot about how these stories. This is all our folklore. This is not county. This is Appalachia. This is what it all boils down to. Is the stories we have, the stories we can share. And some of them are really, really weird. And that's where we come in. And that's where we like to live, is in this weird spot back in the hollers. And we like talking about these things, telling these stories. So if any of you out there have a story that you'd like to share, you can always leave us a comment, send us an email on all the platforms that we are available. And we also have all the social medias. We have the Facebook, we have the TikTok. So it's easy to find us.
And we have our own webpage now at notsoquiet.com.
Notsoquiet.com. That's right. We have our own website. It's got all of our content, and it has links to our TikToks and things of that nature.
Yeah, to our everything.
Yeah. It's it's definitely our main hub. You can get to everywhere from there. And of course, check out Knothead's merch store, where you can get official Appalachian Not So Quiet merch.
We want to give a shout out to a few people. We had made a post on Facebook promising to shout out our friends that are on there following us that are free investigators.
Yeah, all of our investigator buddies out there in Facebook land.
Yeah, we have OG Paranormal, and they are based in Alabama. And they say that they will travel around to any surrounding state. And their email is o.g.paranormal420@gmail. So if you need like some investigation around that area, you can contact them. We also have Spirits of Iowa Paranormal Society. It says that they have members all over the state of Iowa, and that you can find them at on TikTok, Instagram, and you can email them at Spirits Iowa paraassociation@gmail.com.
Well, that's cool. So they're like a statewide
Like a whole
organization.
team.
People all over the state. That's cool.
And we have Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon and Paranormal Society. They say that they have members in Middle and Southern Ohio and Northern Kentucky.
Oh, okay. So they're multi-state.
Now, of course, we have Bear City Paranormal, and they investigate like the Carolinas, but they have been as far as Oklahoma to do consults.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can contact them at bearcityparanormal@gmail.com.
Yeah, Bear City. We've mentioned them on here before. Great bunch of people.
And Hairs on End Supernatural Supplies and Services, and they're located in England. They travel all over Scotland and Wales.
England. Okay, cool. Man, I bet they got some good ghost stories. They got a lot of haunted castles and things over there.
And then we also have Liminal Shadow Paranormal, and they're in the Nashville area, and they will travel around the metro area in Middle Tennessee to do investigations. And you can email them at liminalshadowparanormal@gmail.com or Facebook, and they have Instagram and TikTok as well.
Yeah, go check them out. Give them a follow.
We have D&M Paranormal, and they're out of the St. Louis area. They didn't go in specific, where they travel to.
I'd say just around St. Louis.
Yeah. And we also have God Be Paranormal, and they're out of central Kentucky, but they travel within 2 hours of either direction to do investigations, and you can follow them on Facebook TikTok or send them an email at godbeparanormal@gmail.
In Central Kentucky, 2 hours in any direction, you're going to
Mhm.
be just about anywhere else in Kentucky. So-
Yeah. Or, I mean, like, you can head into Indiana or Ohio.
Yeah, so go give all those groups a like, a follow. So if you're having a problem with some haints, they might be able to help you out.
Yeah, definitely go check them out. If it or you're just interested in things that have found, you probably can find a lot of content on their pages.
Oh yeah,
so.
I'm sure they've got a lot of their evidence and things of that nature up on their websites and Facebooks and stuff. Yeah, go check them out. And of course, we want to thank all of you out there that have been tuning in and listening, following us, giving us likes. I mean, it's just incredible. You all are awesome. So keep coming back and keep listening. We're going to have more for you. Like I said, this whole setup for this episode, just telling these stories and everything, this is something I've kind of been thinking about for a while. And I really want to do it with even more people in my family and things, because there are a lot of just great stories that have come out of this holler as well as other hollers. And we know a lot of people. So I think that we could probably get all kinds of stories from friends and family and the like. And I'm sure everybody out there would like to hear those stories as well. They seem to like hearing our stories. It'd be nice to have all these old timers stories all collected right here and for everybody to listen to
Over and over and over
and over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
for generations.
Yeah, save these stories for all the generations to come. So thanks once again to our guests, and thank you all for listening, and come back for the next exciting episode of Appalachia Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom,
And I'm Appalachian Shade.
and we'll see you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.